So, welcome back to Krish e-learning platform after a long time. So, in this video, we are going to see about accounting standard 1, and probably there will be a continuous session for accounting standards from group 1 as well as group 2 in near future. So, moving on to this session, before going on to the session, we need to know about what accounting standard is. Okay, so accounting standard provides basis, rules, and regulation for accounting things. So, for example, let we take an accounting standard named AS2 inventories. Okay, so we will take. Okay, in AS2 inventories, the AS2 is not merely called as inventories, it is called as accounting for inventories. Okay, so in this AS2, we will be learning about how inventories need to be recorded at closing stock, how it should be dealt in case of raw materials, etc. Okay, so all the accounting standard provides something that helps us to know how to record things, how to present things, how to disclose things, how to measure things, and it each and every accounting standards will have their own objectives, have their own valuation, have their own presentation, etc. Okay, so there are many accounting standards, and in group 1 we mainly read about around 7 to 8 or around 6 to 7. I'm not sure about it. Okay, so in respect of the question that will be asked in ICA examination, that will be very simple. All those questions that are asked in exams over the past years have come from inside the book only. Okay, so all the questions exactly will be in your book itself. Okay, so you need to be thorough with all the illustration provided. You need to be conceptually strong. Okay, so take your group 1 accounting standard book, that is the module 1. uh, Check through the last few pages of the book, merely, or 5 to 6 pages. Check through them, so that you will get an overview about how the questions are asked. Okay, so most probably accounting standards will be asked from inside the book only, and that too the precise illustrations. Okay, so that's as far as accounting standard questions are concerned. So let me move on to the next one. Okay, so coming on with AS1. What AS1 is? AS1 deals with disclosure of accounting principle. Okay, so you need to remember the name carefully. Okay, so you need to know about all the illustration, all the accounting standard name. If AS1, you need to know disclosure of accounting principle. You should not write simply that disclose accounting principles. You should not write alone accounting principles. Okay, you need to know the full name. This is like an act. Okay, for example, if you're writing Indian Contract Act, you need to write that full. You won't write that Contract Act. Okay, the same way accounting standards names are also to be written. So the next is the objective of AS1. We need to know why is AS1 is important. Okay, so AS1 is important to promote better understanding of financial statement. Okay, to better understanding of financial statement. So to promote better understanding, for example, if you have written an entry of say for example, I bought a furniture. Okay, I bought a furniture for rupees 10,000. So I need to record this entry in my book. So what I'm doing is furniture account data to cash 10,000, 10,000. Okay, I need to provide narration for this. Okay, because I need to know whether I have spent cash for this or I have paid through bank. Okay, for example, I am even pay through check. Okay. So depending on that, I need to provide. If I'm paying it partly in cash and partly through bank, I need to provide that statement. Okay. So promote a better understanding of financial statement. If I have not paid through cash, why am I paying it through bank? Because usually, if you buy something for business, in case of petty expenses, you will pay through cash. In case of huge expenses, you will pay through bank. Okay. So in this case, if you're buying furniture to cash, how so you have so much of cash in hand with you? Why haven't you deposited that in your bank account? So all these questions will arise. So to be precise, you need to be clear and disclose every facts. Okay. So you may think what disclosure is. Disclosure is nothing but uh, show off. Okay, for example, I'm buying a new dress. I'm showing off to my friend that see I have bought so and so dress from Reliance or from Trends. Okay, so for example, we could take that example itself. Okay, now what I'm doing, I am showing off. So in case of disclosure of accounting principle, I'm showing off that I have recorded with an aspect of this accounting principle. Okay, so there are two basic things that we need to be aware of. We are studying that from our 11th standard itself in case of commerce students. Okay, so that is how financial statements are prepared, how recording of journal entries is done, how classification of ledgers are done, why for trial balance is done. All are based on accounting assumptions and accounting policies. Okay, so there are only three accounting assumptions. Moving on with the accounting assumption. Okay, accounting assumption are of three types. Three assumptions are there, not merely known as types. We can call it that there are three assumptions. One is going concern assumption, accrual assumption, and consistency assumption. Going concern assumption is nothing but we assume that our business will move on for a certain period of time. That is, we always start a business for a long term basis. We won't have the intention to close the business tomorrow. uh, Meanwhile, we started today. Okay, so if we start today, we won't have the intention that we will close the business tomorrow itself. Okay, so we need that going concern assumption. I strongly should have the belief that if I'm running a YouTube channel, I should have the belief that I will run it for a longer period of time. I should not have the mindset that சும்மா இன்னைக்கு ஒரு வீடியோ போட்டோமா அவ்வளவுதான். Not that mindset should be there. Okay, so the next thing is that the accrual basis of accounting. So normally accounting can be done based on two aspects. Okay, one is cash and the other one is accrual. Okay, when it comes to cash, all the transaction will be recorded only on payment basis. Okay, or only when you receive the cash. Okay, so in accrual basis, you record transaction when you realize that you will get cash, you will get an income, you will incur an expense. For example, provision for about doubtful debts. Okay, and other outstanding expenses, etc. Okay, the next thing is thus the consistency concept. Consistency is that if I am following an basis of accounting today, I need to follow that repeatedly for over the period of time. I should not change from one method to another method and that method to another method. Okay, I should not change or deviate my concepts because to compare things, to compare this year with the next year, I need to I can clearly compare those things only when I am have the basis of accounting. For example, today I am calculating gross profit on basis of sales. Tomorrow I'm calculating gross profit on the basis of cost. So will that be uh, good to compare both these concepts when they are valued differently? Okay, so no. we need things to be compared, provided they should have been prepared in the same manner. So, for example, today in this period of time, I'm using SLM method for depreciation. Okay, and over a period of time, I'm using WDV method. Okay, and again, I'm changing to SLM method. Can I compare the value of cost over SLM, WDV, and again with SLM? No, that won't provide a precise basis of accounting, that won't provide a clear view towards accounting. You can't compare two different things. For example, you can't compare a man with women. Okay, that's how things are. Next one is accounting assumption. Okay, so now dealing with how AS1 affects accounting assumption. So, if accounting assumptions, namely going concern, accrual consistency, are followed, disclosure is not required. Okay. So the thing is that I am following all those three assumptions. Then why should I disclose that fact? That will be an extra work for me. Okay. So you need not record those when you are obediently doing all these facts. Okay. If you are not following, you should disclose the fact. Why have you not followed that? This is the main thing for accounting. Then why have you not followed that? Okay, you are selecting accrual over cash basis. Then you should disclose that why have you not recorded in accrual basis. For example, I'm dealing with only cash basis. So my business is very small. I have only cash transaction. I don't deal with any credit sales or credit purchases. I'm okay with it. Okay. So I'm following cash basis. Okay. So you need to provide why have you done so? Why have you followed cash basis? You need to provide the reason. Okay. So that's what deals with accounting assumption. The next is that the accounting principle. So normally we have dealt that A is one and A is one is merely based on accounting principles and accounting assumption. We have dealt with the part of accounting assumption as of now. Now we are going to move with accounting principle factor. Okay, so accounting principles there are many. To we have a check on, we will deal with few instances over here. So uniformity, accounting principle. Why need to be following accounting principles? Because uniformity. In case of different businesses, to provide comparison, you need to have a uniform basis of accounting so that only you can compare your business with the other business. Okay. So the next thing is this, the true and fair view. So you are accounting in a different way, and you need to provide notes for why have you done. So, so that will provide the external people or the internal people who are dependent on the financial statement, that they can rely on your accounting statements with utmost clarity. Okay, so they could trust that the accounting statement is true and fair. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, so in that manner you need to disclose all the things that will provide the true and fair view of accounting. There should be uniformity, there should be true and fair view, and the prudence is nothing but in some cases we call it as the conservatism principle. So you should always record estimated loss rather than estimated profit. Okay, you should always provide for loss. So, for example, I am having a business worth rupees 10 crore in the market. Okay, I have a business worth 10 crore in the market. So, today, as ignoring the prudence concept, I'm recording 23 lakhs profit. Okay, without considering prudence concept. Okay, as on 31st March 2021, I'm saying so I have a 23 lakh profit. After 1 month, say for example on 30th April same 2021, I'm reporting a loss of 3 lakh. Okay, so my people who are dependent on my worried statements are worried. You have said that on 31st March 2021 you have 23 lakh of profit. Then why have you reported 3 lakh loss in the 30th April. I will say them that I ignore all those possible losses. I have only expected profit will come. So I didn't provide it for provision for doubtful debts. Okay. So I'm saying all those things. I didn't account those expected expenses. I recorded only my profit and said that 30th March 2020, on 31st March 2020, I had a 23 lakh profit. Okay. Now what will the mindset of the stakeholders be? They'll think that the company is not stable. So, like for example, 23 lakh in a graph, 23 lakh will be here and 3 lakh loss will be here. So, will this jump will be good for the company? No. Okay, always people will prefer a company which goes in the upward trend, not in a lower or consolidated trend. Okay, so the thing is this only. So you can say that I had a loss of 3 lakh in 31st March, and on 30th April you can say I had a 23 lakh profit. That will seem good. From here, from 3 lakh of a loss, I'm going to 23 lakh of profit. That seems to be good. Okay, so you should always record transaction on prudent basis. Okay, you should estimate all possible losses and account for them. You should not provide for any estimated profit unless you are sure about it, you are certain that you will earn. Okay, the next thing is the substance over form. Substance over form is nothing but reality over legality. Okay, so for example, I am spending rupees 10,000 for legal expenses, but my as far my company is concerned, I should not spend more than 5,000 for legal expenses, so that I am accounting only 5,000. So I am overstating my profit of 5,000 because I am reducing my expense to a limit of 5,000. So always so that that won't provide a good basis of account, because you have an expense of 10 crore but you are showing an expense only of 5 crore, so you are overestimating your profit. Okay, you should not do that. You can underestimate your profit. You can underestimate your profit, but you should not overestimate your profit. Okay. So the next thing is that the materiality. All the material facts should be there. So for each and every business, materiality will differ. Okay. For example, A has a business and B has a business. A has a capital of rupees 10,000 and B has a capital of rupees 10 crore. Okay. So BA has loss due to fire of rupees 5,000. B has a loss of rupees 5,000. So according to B, whose capital is 10 crore, 5,000 is GGP. Okay, but according to A, whose capital is 10,000, has a loss 50% on capital, he needs to definitely record the same. He should provide a suitable explanation for his losses. Okay, so you should need what is materiality to my own business. So this is my loss, this is my materiality, I need to record that for sure. If the expense is 1 rupee or 10 rupee or 100 rupees, that is not material for me, I may leave that. But 5,000 rupees is 50% of my capital, and that is a huge amount for my business. So you should always prefer materiality, substance over form, prudence, true and fair view, uniformity. And if all these cases are affected, you need to provide a suitable expense explanation, that is you need to provide a disclosure why have you done so. Okay, so now if there is a change in accounting policy, if you have a change in accounting policy, if that has an effect in current year, okay, if you have an effect in current year or if you have an effect in future period, you need to disclose that in the current period itself. You need to show off in the current period itself. Okay, so okay, I need to show off, but in few cases amount is ascertainable and in few cases amount could not be ascertained. Okay, So in when amount is ascertainable, I will disclose both the amount and fact. Both the amount is, if I have occurred a loss of 10,000 rupees, I will account the 10,000 and the fact that there is a loss. Okay, but the amount could not be attained. I don't know how much of the goods is lost. Okay, in that case, I will write simply the fact that there is a few things or a few losses occurred due to loss of fire. Sorry, due to fire. Okay, you need to account for the same. So this is the thing. If there is a change in accounting for that, you did not follow, you did not record prudence for through prudence principle, you did not show uniformity, you need to check whether that will affect in the current year or it will affect in the future period. Okay, in both the cases you need to disclose in the current period itself. If you need to disclose in the current period, then you should check whether the amount is ascertainable or the amount could not be ascertained. If the amount is ascertainable, you should record both the amount and fact. If the amount could not be ascertained, you should record only the fact. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this. Possibly we will make more okay, possibly we will make more accounting standard videos. Hope you liked it. And in next few cases, we will check for the illustration sums also. Okay, I hope you guys are clear. Thank you for patiently watching the entire video.